some Week 4 shoutouts. My number one shout out for the Bills. Shout out to the Bills for beating the Raiders. They look good. The Bills are 4-0. The AFC is, I still think it's the Chiefs and then everybody else, or like the Chiefs, a gap, the Ravens, and then everybody else. But the Bills are starting to creep up. They're starting to get in that conversation. They're starting to be that third team that is like, all right, maybe they could compete against the Ravens and the Chiefs. They could be the one that spoils it for one of them and prevents us from seeing a Chiefs versus Ravens AFC conference final. But yeah, the Bills. Josh Allen is playing great. He had another solid game against the Raiders yesterday. The defense looked like they're starting to pick it up. I mean, when you have Josh Allen and they're putting up that many points, the defense just has to be respectable, and they've been respectable. They kept the Raiders. They got some timely turnovers, so the Bills are looking good. I had them making the playoffs as the highest wild card, and I had the Patriots winning the division. They still haven't played this year, so the Patriots could come back, but the Patriots play the Chiefs today without Cam Newton, so that's gonna be a loss. So they're gonna be 2 games behind the Bills after 4 weeks at 2-2. So they got some work to do. They got to catch up to them. So it's looking pretty good for the Bills. It's looking like they could win the division this year. So shout out to the Bills. Another quick shout out. Shout out to Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow, my man, got his first win of the season. Um, they beat the Jaguars. They look good. Joe Burrow has just look. He looks comfortable in the pocket. He looks comfortable in the NFL. He had a great season last season in college, and now he's transitioning to the NFL, and it looks like he's seamless. If you're a Bengals fan, you should be very, very excited for the future. This team is still like not the best. It's still pretty mediocre across the board, but now you have the one piece that could change your franchise. If you have your quarterback, everything else comes within time. And it looks like you have Joe Burrow now. He looks legit. He looks like he belongs. He looks like he could be the second best quarterback in that division after Lamar Jackson. Like it'll be Lamar Jackson. Big Ben's getting older. He's probably gonna retire soon. Mayfield, I'll talk about him in a little bit, but I don't trust Mayfield. Joe Burrow. Bengals have Joe Burrow. I feel like him and Lamar Jackson, they're gonna compete for the AFC North for a long, long time. I mean, if I'm kind of jealous. If I had an NFL team and I see the Bengals with Joe Burrow, I'm like, damn. I'm kind of jealous. I'm kind of jealous of the situation you're in. But shout out to Joe Burrow. You got your first win in the NFL. I know that must have felt good. Cheers. Hope you guys get. I don't think the Bengals will get many more. They'll probably end up with like 3 or 4, maybe 5, probably 4. I see them getting like 4 wins, and that's it. But shout out to Joe Burrow. You've looked amazing, man. I know you're gonna have a great season, and you're probably gonna win Rookie of the Year. Last shout out I wanted to give, or 2 more shout outs. One in the AFC, one in the NFC. Shout out to the Colts. The Colts, they lost week 1 to the Titans, I believe, and they didn't look good. I had said the Colts were going to win the division, and I was really like on the hype train for the Colts, and then people were like, man, you crazy. But now they're 3-1. They took care of the Bears. They humbled the Bears. I've been saying the Bears were a fake 3-0. Like I did not trust the Bears at 3-0. I was like, honestly, I don't even see them making the playoffs. Like they're gonna choke this away. They're gonna finish like 8-8 or something. And the Colts, with their number 1 defense, they went and just took care of the Bears. Rivers, their new quarterback, he's been all right. He hasn't been spectacular. He hasn't been terrible. He's just been all right. He's been good. He's been what they need. They're a solid defensive run first team now. As long as Rivers keeps them in good game management, doesn't take fouls, doesn't take penalties, doesn't get turnovers, they should be all right. Just because the roster that they've built there is a quality roster, so they should be a good team going forward. And I still give them a chance to push for the division. I know the Titans are playing good, but the Colts are playing good too, and we'll see. I'm looking forward to that matchup, Colts versus Titans. That should be a good one. So shout out to the Colts, 3-1. Shout out to my homie Luis in San Diego. He's the only Colts fan I know. He's been a Colts fan for the longest, and they had a rough patch right there when Manning retired, and then once Luck retired. But now they have a solid team. It looks like they're turning their season around, their franchise around. So shout out to the Colts. And my last shout out before I start to get into these games, shout out to the Seahawks, 4-0. Russell Wilson for MVP. Russell Wilson for MVP. He tied the record for most touchdowns through 4 games in an NFL season, tying Peyton Manning. So he's just been playing lights out. The only reason the reason the Seahawks are 4-0 is just Russell Wilson. If they didn't have Russell Wilson, there's a chance they'll be 0-4. And I'm not even lying. Russell Wilson is the MVP just because he's putting up the best numbers as a quarterback right now, and the team would just fall apart if he wasn't there. I feel like with Mahomes, Andy Reid will be able to figure it out. They have a lot of talent everywhere where they could probably make it work. Not obviously, I don't want to take nothing away from Mahomes. They'll obviously miss him, but they wouldn't miss him as much as the Seahawks would miss Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson's the MVP. I'm going to keep saying it. Russell Wilson for MVP. Let's get this man a vote. Let's get this man an MVP. He's had a great season. He's had a great career. I think he deserves an MVP. He's playing like the best quarterback in the league. Shout out to Russell Wilson. 4-0. Beat the Dolphins. Division leaders. My Super Bowl prediction for the NFC East. I mean, the NFC is for the Seahawks to make it. So 4-0 Seahawks. Shout out to Russell Wilson. What a great quarterback.